in the city for strikes. In a shocker, Srinagar's Hazrat Bal Dargah worshippers offering Friday prayers dismantled the newly installed Ashoka emblem. They argued that such idol-like symbols are not permissible inside a mosque under Islamic tradition. Halal Lifestyle Township near Mumbai sparks a row. NHRC issues a notice to Maharashtra government. Critics call it religious segregation. Promoters cite housing bias against Muslim, which is the reason why they've come together to form one Muslim community itself, because Muslims are otherwise being denied homes elsewhere. Karnataka Cabinet approves the withdrawal of 60 criminal cases, including 2019 stone pelting incidents and cases against supporters of Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar. Mohan Charan Maji was diverted to Kolkata after it failed to land in Bhubaneswar due to incessant weather conditions. Trump hosts top tech giants for dinner at White House. Notably absent from the guest list, once a close ally of Trump, was Elon Musk. United Kingdom Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner resigns over underpaying property tax. In fact, on a new home, property tax allegedly wasn't paid. Eighth person to quit since Starmer took charge. Thailand gets its third Prime Minister in 2 years. Parliament elects business tycoon Anutin Charniwarkul to the top government post. All right, let me start with Donald Trump and his new social media post, looking fairly agitated with seeing India, China, Russia on one stage. The West here clearly seem to be losing sleep over India's growing clout, and Donald Trump's latest outburst only proving it. The show of strength at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, India alongside Russia and China, has really rattled Washington clearly. On Truth Social, Trump has fumed, saying, "Looks like we've lost India and Russia to deepest, darkest China. May they have a long and prosperous future together." Now, this is his sharpest admission yet of how the SCO trio is shifting global power equations, chipping away at America's influence. From energy to security, New Delhi, Moscow and Beijing are finding common ground, often clashing with Washington on Ukraine and trade. For decades, in fact, the United States propped up India as counterweight to China. But ties have soared fast. Since returning to office, Trump has slapped a combined 50% tariff on Indian goods, one of the steepest ever against US partner. Well, any US partner has not faced the kind of tariffs that India has received, but India seems to be the real evil to Donald Trump. Wonder why? The MEA has stayed measured though, declining to comment on Trump's rant, while rejecting ex-Trump aide Navarro's claim about Brahmin profiteering as inaccurate and misleading. So the MEA has basically responded to Navarro. Let's listen in.
Regarding the post, I have no comments to offer on this post at this point. Regarding the post, I have no comments to offer on this post at this point.
To ignore, and it's reshaping the West strategic playbook. Well, let me quickly bring in our panelist here on board. In fact, as we know, it is interesting to see that Donald Trump at this point not very happy with India, Russia, China coming together. So does this mean that Donald Trump is going to come back to reworking equations with India? Let me bring in Ambassador Manju Seth, former Indian diplomat, joining us. Thank you, Ambassador Manju, for speaking to me right here on News 9. We're looking at Donald Trump making a comment which was not unexpected entirely, because we see the West losing sleep over India, Russia, China on one stage. And here you have suddenly, after making India look like the evil all along, Trump now making China look like the evil. Saying that now India and Russia. In fact, Trump has a problem with India and Russia, but now the tables have turned, saying that look at India and Russia running towards China, the real evil China. So the kind of mind games and the wordplay Trump is indulging in, what do you make of it?
Yeah, it's absolutely very difficult to fathom what's happening, and of course, partly it is because the fact is that these three countries and the three leaders were seen together, and I think indirectly sending a message to the US, look, we have options and we can work together if you don't want to work with us. So that was, of course, there. But it has, of course, as you rightly said, clearly upset, the President Trump. And I think he is in great, he and his advisors, with the kind of rhetoric, the kind of statements coming out from Washington, unprecedented and unfathomable. It's difficult to fathom, unfathomable. And the way he has gone on and on now, saying Trump, President Trump is saying have we lost India and Russia to the evil, as you very rightly said, to evil China. So now China is the evil. So there seems to be a lot of inconsistency in what he's constantly saying. But I think at the center of all what has been happening in the last few weeks, India is the biggest, villain, should I say, in all this. They seem to be targeting India left, right, and center. And in an attempt, I believe, to make India do what the US wants. But India itself has to hedge its bets. It has to hedge its options. We cannot just be browbeaten like this. And we had no option. And I think in some measure, President Trump and his team have been responsible for the fact that India has moved towards, attending the SCO was on the table, but this closeness and this extra bonhomie that we saw between the three leaders, President Xi Jinping, President Putin, and Indian Prime Minister, I think,
has it really unsettled the US? Has this really unsettled the US?
It has unsettled them. But at the same time, they're not backing off. You can see that one after the other, the statements are not stopping, and advisors or directly, or he himself directly. And so they're constantly on with this barrage of negative, usage and undiplomatic language. I think between countries, I think that's not the norm of using this kind of language. It's your big enemies, and even today they've said that now. One of the, I think, ex-advisors has said that now PM Modi and President Trump's friendship has also gone. Yes, to some measure it would go, but at the same time, India cannot afford to completely...
Yeah, in fact, that precisely was what I was to ask you on. If India now edging towards Russia and China, do you believe that we're risking losing strategic space with the United States, or with the signaling that we're seeing from Trump, even if it is a rant in the form of a rant, because anyway Trump has redefined what diplomatic language means altogether. But with Trump constantly putting out messages, his team members saying ugly things about India and India's equation with Russia or China, do you believe this is US trying to kind of signal that they want to recalibrate?
It is an indirect signal, but I don't think they will make the first move. I don't think so, because I think in this case, President Trump is extremely upset that unlike other countries, India has not rushed to say that he is the peacemaker and deserves a Nobel Prize, etc., etc. We haven't done that. So I think that has riled him up a bit. And also the fact that we kept contradicting when he claimed credit for the peace or for the end of the 4-day conflict with Pakistan. So I think he is a bit riled. He's a bit upset about that because he didn't expect that India would hold out. Because all other countries, and he has mentioned that even for the trade and other deals with other countries, saying, how Indonesia came and got it done, how so-and-so came and how so-and-so came, only India has not come. India should have come. So, he's trying to browbeat India, and that is not going to work out. And he has, I think, it's a very, as I said, very difficult to fathom what exactly he's achieving, or it's only ego. It looks like an ego kind of, ego at the top. And I think that is not a very positive thing in international relations. And he will not take the first step, but I think I believe there should be back channel talks, and there should be some resetting of the ties, because it's a very important relationship for us. US is an important partnership for us, and we are also important for the US. I think it's a mutually important relationship, and we should try and get it back, at least in all the other sectors. Maybe trade, I don't know if we will get back to getting any kind of normalcy in the near future, but going ahead we might. But right now, all our other partnerships should be focused on. Nabil.
I do want to ask you, though. In fact, we hear there's a latest statement coming from the U.S. Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, who's basically said and termed India as a vowel between Russia and China, saying that New Delhi will be at the negotiation table and will try to make a deal with Donald Trump in a couple of months, suggesting that India will be the one making the first move, trying to recalibrate.
I think that's what they want. And maybe because it is, we will have to see how best to make it work, because it is in India's interest to see that some kind of, bridges are built again with the Trump administration. But how we do it and how it will pan out remains to be seen. But I think it is important for both countries to be working together, both largest and oldest democracy. So I think we have many other common convergences, common interests. And and of course, the trust has been broken a bit. But, again, with China, we've had many incidents of the trust being broken. So there has been a history of not being sure where we stand with China, but only with Russia overall, we've had a very stable and, trustful, should I say, trusted relationship. But whether with China coming into the picture, we are not sure how it will pan out. But I think with Russia is the only country with which we can have some certainty so far. But with China, we haven't always had a very, even relationship. And now with the US also, if you see over the years, there has been an up and down in the relationship. And maybe this is one more down, but we will come out of it, I'm sure. But yes, how soon remains to be seen. And I think there will be back channel talks, and there will be some kind of report.
No, but a final word, Ms. Manju. For the amount that United States makes it look like as if India is going to be really taking the blow, we're not denying it. We are going to be hurt, or at least are going to have a heavier blow in compared to the US, because we exported more to the United States, and in US sent hardly much here because they claim tariffs was really high in India. But that said, don't you believe that the US markets also will struggle by fully cutting out or by imposing tariffs like this? India completely now coming to a grinding halt in terms of exports to the US. In fact, there are calls for US goods to be boycotted here in India. So, US pretending to not be affected at all by this 50% tariff on India, just India is going to be bearing the brunt. Do you see that being a reality as well?
Absolutely. It's not that, the US will not bear the brunt. They will also have some degree of hardship. It will hurt them. And the common people there are already feeling the brunt of all this that is happening. Yeah. Yes, our SMEs are also facing the brunt. They're facing this, tariff hurt, so to speak. But also, if you see the fact that the other outside, things outside the trade thing, less students going there, who contribute huge amounts of money to the US exchequer, to the universities. And also now that they're saying that they will, cut down other visas, H-1B visas, which are also huge contributors to the US economy. So I think and the number of tourists who will travel, and the HNIs who have invested there. So I think there are, and if all this carries on, maybe there will be some, people might rethink about studying in the US, about investing in the US. and because he's sort of gone on being a little
I think
arbitrary
that's
in some
already
way.
happening. Yeah.
So I think all that will also affect the US. And besides this,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course, the
And whatever
for
said,
so, yeah. So that's why that's not making an immediate impact. But yes, all the other
yeah.
items of
And it looks so misplaced. More than anything, more. Yeah, more than anything, the fact that Trump imposing 50% on India, and the one country that they call evil, China, they've imposed 30% on China. So this looks more to do with a personal ego being bruised for India not acknowledging so-called Trump's mediation in the India-Pakistan conflict. It appears clearly to be that, and that's what I think, that's the trust deficit that now India in US has, and Indians now reacting to it, if not for anything. We are resilient enough to bounce back, but a long-term relationship with the United States, not sure how far will India be able to bring back that bonhomie yet again that we had so far. But well, we're hoping for tariffs to be quashed, and hope things get better soon, because at the end of it, Indian economy is a priority. But Ambassador Manju, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your thoughts there. All right, let me cut across to our story here coming in from Maharashtra. Quite a disappointment, in fact, for employees across Maharashtra. A big shift in Maharashtra's labour laws is set to touch lakhs of workers. The state government has cleared a new law allowing private sector companies to extend working hours to 10 a day. In fact, 10 hours work day. It's up from the current 9-hour system. Like Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka, the move is being pitched as a way to attract investments and create jobs. Basically, if people are willing to work more business and more work will happen, which a lot of them believe is actually counterproductive. The longer you work, the more fatigued you are and the output is lower. But nonetheless, it's believed here that more working hours might churn out more work. The change comes, of course, with a catch. Beyond 9 hours, employees will be eligible for double overpay time. If that's a motivating factor, and it has to, of course, be done only with consent of the employees. So if the employees are willing to work 10 hours, then they get a double pay, they're eligible for double pay or overtime, basically. Well, for this, the amendments are being made to key legislations, the Maharashtra Shops and Establishments Act 2017 and the Factories Act of 1948. Legislations are being made there. Yet the pushback is strong. IT professionals, particularly in Pune, are asking, what about employees' rights? And that's the question we must ask too here at a time when the world is speaking of work-life balance, of stress and mental health. Why are governments still chasing longer shifts instead of healthier work and life balance? Well, it's not for the employer. Well, we know that we won't see employer thinking of work-life balance, but at least overworking an employee, even if you're paying them extra, do you truly believe that output also comes equally? Shouldn't the focus be on a little more balanced approach in ensuring productivity and well-being of your employees? Well, to put that into perspective, let me quickly bring in our panelists there on whether 10-hour work week will work day will actually bring in better output from employees. Dr. Kiran Preet Kaur, Human Resources Expert and Global Talent Acquisition Strategist. We also have Dr. Rajiv Nanda, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court. Thank you both of you for joining us. Dr. Rajiv Nanda, your take on the labor laws itself, pushing for 10-hour work day, of course, out of employee consent, it says, but it almost looks like once this order is in place, it will be implemented almost by force. It will be expected out of the employees. Now you have a new law that says 10 hours, so you better work. If you don't, we won't give you a promotion. It could come down to that. What's your view?
See, to make an employee work for 9 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever hours it is, there has to be a legislative backing. That is, the central legislation is the Indian Factories Act, which has the permission for the state governments to make the regional amendments, the state-wise amendments, which they are I'm told that the Maharashtra government is going. And then the local act, which is the Shop and Establishment Act, which every state has. They prescribe the working hours. Presently, the working hours have been kept after being considered by a lot of committees and research that 9 hours Initially, it used to be 8 hours. Then it has come to 9 hours. 9 hours was held to be appropriate for keeping in view the health of the people working, because ultimately it is the work to be done by human beings. They are not machines that they can be made to work for more time. Ultimately, if this is the, of course, they have the right to do, the state governments have the right to legislate or amend the existing hours, but then it will have its negative impact on the health, mental health as well as physical health. It is impossible for a human being to work, if not impossible, it is very difficult rather, for a human being to work for longer hours. There is another point to it, that it may increase unemployment also, because if you need to extract more work from your workers, then the organizations or particular firms or the companies, they have to hire more people. This way they are cutting in the costs and making the employees work for something for which they would have to employ somebody else. Now they are making the same employee work here for longer hours. So this is in a way will be contributory factor for increasing the unemployment also. Now we are not sure, because for 9 hours also there was a break prescribed within the stipulated time of working of 9 hours. Now whether proportionately, if it is made to 10 hours or even longer, whether proportionately the breaks will also increase, we don't know as of now, because there is no clarity as so far as breaks is concerned. Yes, of course, I mean, I will say
Correct.
that yes, of course, they have the
But do you
power to
welcome
do it.
this? Or
No, I don't welcome it. This is going to create unemployment, and this is going to adversely affect the health of the
Okay.
workers, physical as well as mental health.
But health. But they're also offering to pay more if you're working an hour additional.
See, money cannot compensate to your health. Money cannot. And money is not everything.
Correct.
If you have to increase your productivity, you can hire more people.
Maybe
Why will
Dr.
you make
Kiran
the
Preet
same
might be
people
able to
work?
shed light on that. Dr. Kiran Preet Kaur, your HR, do you believe this is going to bring in more stability or productivity into the workforce? People will become more competitive. There's a little more energy that will be infused. It's going to be counterproductive entirely. And we're looking at global economies, on the contrary, moving towards shorter work weeks. And here we have Maharashtra going the opposite way.
Thank you so much, Nabila, for asking that wonderful question. I think this legislative move needs to be evaluated, holistically, because from the lens of an employee well-being, it may not be apt. From organizational productivity, again, questionable. And it has to continuously evolve basis the nature of the work, it is concerned. From industry standpoint, I think certain sectors like especially manufacturing, logistics, or service operating, which are high in demand environments, longer days may be beneficial for cost optimization or maybe operational efficiency. But I think that can very much be achieved by putting in some technology in place. India's competitiveness in global manufacturing and services has somewhere been impacted by rigid labor structures. But if it is bringing a lot of flexibility and responsibly is implemented, it can become a tool for progress. But again, question is whether we're measuring productivity through linearly hours, or we're going beyond that. Are we considering the fatigue? Are we considering the safety that can suffer or the quality of work? Because progressive companies will need to ensure that increase in working hours is a counterbalance of mental health, flexibility, and they have to provide a supporting infrastructure to it. I'm not sure, on the mandatory
you've got to have a counselor, you've got to be, and there shouldn't be comparison. You can't hinge promotion based on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you need to have fair compensation. You need to let people opt out of options if they have personal or caregiving responsibilities. We need to avoid one-size-fits-all kind of an approach. What works for a factory floor may not work for a knowledge worker or a creative professional. So I think it's important that we also, phase in hybrid and flexible models, which are reshaping the work-life expectations, and any regulatory change that happen, it has to coexist with these transformation and not conflict with it. So if the 10-hour day becomes like an average, then, a mandate, a rigid mandate, employers might feel, exploited, either that or can explore a 4-day work week on a rotational shift basis, to preserve their balance. It is how we advocate an employee-centric approach. Now, that is something to be seen, because we need a lot of transparency.
Very rightly
we need
said.
intent. We need to ensure that the implementation is on point and people are not.
And that's the worry here in a country where we aren't sensitive to employees. Where we aren't sensitive to women employees, we aren't sensitive to the health of the employees. So many actual problems that we have to address in the country before actually jumping into 10-hour work week. But well, if Maharashtra can do it, then good. But is the environment conducive enough is questionable. But very interesting to hear your thoughts, Dr. Rajiv and Dr. Kiran Preet. I really appreciate you joining us on this.
Thank you.
All right, let me shift to our top stories on day tonight. Let me start with Karnataka. Karnataka Congress government has taken a dramatic electoral step just days after Rahul Gandhi's voter Adhikar Yatra has ended in Bihar, where they condemned the election commission on voter theft and whatnot. The Karnataka cabinet has approved of reverting to ballot papers for local body elections in Karnataka. The move applies to 5 corporations under the Greater Bengaluru Authority. In fact, Law Minister H.K. Patil says the decision stems from growing mistrust in EVMs. State Election Commissioner G.S. Sangreshi has clarified that once the Act is amended, ballot paper use becomes binding. But the BJP is, of course, furious. You have State President of the BJP, B.Y. Vijendra, accusing the Congress of trying to manipulate booths, pointing to past instances of malpractice. While the ruling party in Karnataka, Congress, insists that it's restoring people's trust, the opposition sees it as a ploy to rig polls. Remember, we've come all the way from ballot papers to EVMs, and now seems like Karnataka government wants to go back to it because they have no faith in EVMs. Well, we've got to see how the people of Karnataka receive this. All right, now with Bihar polls looming, a social media gaffe has snowballed into a major controversy. Kerala Congress's official handle posted a tweet mocking GST reforms, saying BDs and Bihar start with B and cannot be considered a sin anymore. Basically belittling Bihar. The tweet was quickly deleted after outrage, but not before triggering enough backlash. Congress Kerala has apologized for it, claiming that it was just a jab at Modi's GST gimmick. They call the GST reform a gimmick and not on the people of Bihar entirely. But the damage, of course, was already done. You had the RJD leader Tejasvi Yadav condemning this remark as very wrong and distanced himself. Remember, Tejasvi Yadav and Rahul Gandhi have been rallying together, and they are allies right now going into elections in Bihar. But here you have it, within their own ally basically goofing up. BJP seizing the moment, slamming the Congress for insulting Bihar and hitting back with C for corruption. Then what began as a satire on BD taxes has morphed into a flashpoint in Bihar's high-stakes election season this time. All right, in Maharashtra, Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar is facing quite the heat after a video that surfaced of him reprimanding a woman IPS officer. The officer was stopped by Ajit Pawar for ensuring a crackdown on illegal soil excavation and illegal soil mining that was happening in Solapur's Karmala Taluka, when she was confronted by some NCP workers. One of them connected her directly to Ajit Pawar, saying speak to him. And in that call, Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, very sternly told that lady officer that she's got to stop that action right there and then and leave from there. Warning, if she didn't do it, then she will get suspended, that she will face consequences. He went up to say, things like, "Tu itni daring ho gayi hai." मैं action लूंगा. You've got to stop this. The clip, of course, went viral, sparking outrage. Ajit Pawar has since clarified that he never intended to block the law enforcement. He only was trying to ensure the spirit of the Karyakartas or the NCP ground workers is retained. He's trying to de-escalate tensions, reaffirming that he has highest respect for women officers. Ajit, though, added that illegal sand and soil mining must be punished strictly, but critics say that this episode exposes political interference in policing. A quick look at what happened.
को मदद करने का ही काम है सर।
मिनिस्टर आपके साथ बोल रहा हूँ, मैं आपको आदेश देता हूँ कि वो रुकवाओ और आप जाओ और तहसीलदार को बताओ कि अजित पवार जी का फोन आया था, डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर ने मुझे कहा ये सब रुकवाने के लिए, क्योंकि अभी मुंबई में जरा मुंबई का माहौल एकदम खराब हुआ है, उसको अपने को प्राधान्य देना है। मेरा नाम बताओ उनको
सर। वो मुझे आप एक काम कीजिए, आप मुझे मेरे फोन में मतलब डायरेक्ट कॉल कीजिए ना।
एक मिनट, मैं तेरे ऊपर एक्शन लूंगा। अभी मैं खुद आपके साथ बोल रहा हूँ कि आप मुझे डायरेक्ट कॉल बता दिए।
सर मुझे कैसे पता है आप सर समझ रही है सर, जो आप बोल रही है समझ रही है, पर मुझे
सुनो मुझे देखना है ना, मेरा नंबर दे दो या व्हाट्सएप कॉल करो। ठीक है सर, मैं यहाँ से बोल देता हूँ।
ठीक है सर,
मेरा चेहरा तो आपको समझ में आएगा ना।
ठीक है सर।
इतना आपको डेयरिंग हुआ है क्या
सर? मेरे को कार्रवाई जो किया है मुझे कैसे पता है सर?
Ajit Pawar there clearly almost berating that lady officer, saying that you have become so bold that you're not even listening to me. This was how he spoke to her in front of they claim it's NCP workers, but the police there was cracking down on illegal soil mining. And imagine a lady officer was trying to do a job, spoken to in this fashion. How would it really motivate police officers and women particularly? I can only imagine. All right, let me cut across to a big win for Karnataka. Karnataka has now emerged as the top destination for foreign direct investment. This is huge because Karnataka in the first quarter, we believe, has attracted a staggering 50,107 crores as investment. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has elaborated. According to the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Maharashtra and Karnataka together accounted for 51% of India's total FDI inflows in the financial year 2024-25. Karnataka alone has received 6.62 billion, or roughly about 50,000 crores, like I mentioned, while Maharashtra has received 19.6 billion, highlighting the state's growing appeal to global investors. So let me be clear here, Maharashtra topping the list, Karnataka coming second. So in whole of India, Karnataka second in the list for foreign direct investment. We've got the state has got huge money now from foreign investors building business here in Karnataka. Well, we're going to see. We know Karnataka is the topmost state when it comes to revenue churning. One of the top, again second to Maharashtra. We churn the highest state revenues, and here you have foreign direct investment catapulting the state to greater heights. All right, let me cut across to our guest here. In fact, we have a very special guest here on the occasion of Onam. As Kerala celebrates, and so does the world, we have a very special guest from Kerala, Shwetha Memon, who joins me live here on News 9. Shwetha Memon is now the new president of AMMA, and it's a very interesting time because she comes when there has been a cloud of allegations against some of the members who were there, part of AMMA previously. So she's now taken over in such difficult times. So there's a lot for her to say, and she's chosen News 9 to speak to. Thank you very much, Shwetha. Very happy Onam. I really appreciate you joining us. You know, being the first woman president for Amma, it's certainly a historic milestone. How have you received it? How have people and well-wishers around you received this? What was your struggle to get to that spot?
I have been saying this for a couple of years that, women should come forward and talk, and, it's the right time. But somewhere down the line, I never realized that I would be the mouthpiece for them. So this was a very last moment decision for me to stand for the election, exactly 7 minutes before the closing time. And I never realized it, but I did get a backing from many people, in the sense, a lot of people for past 1 year have been calling me up and saying, Shwetha, please come forward. And you have been like a very daring woman. And then I put my nomination. And then you all know the cases came, and many things happened. And I was not there to make a history. I was just there for Amma, It just happened to be that it was quite a tight, tough election, And I've never in my life ever had such a difficult time during an election. This is the second time. The first time I was the first lady vice president in Amma. But again, I stood for a vice president and I won there. When you have a Mohanlal sir and Mammootty sir and Suresh Gopi sir, all these stalwarts, being there, you don't even think about that chair, The moment he decided that I don't want to be in anymore, I just want to be an Amma member and I want to support Amma. And, a lot of people and a lot of mudslinging was happening. Amma. Normal members, they were all calling me and they were saying, Shwetha, be there.
But I still would say the road may not have been easy, Shwetha. It must have been quite a bumpy ride. We understand that your films were also targeted. Some of the films, cases were filed against some of your films, we hear. So that was stayed by the Kerala High Court. So the heat really was immense for you. And for a woman finally to take over and push back against all the odds, that's the leadership you want to bring into Amma at this point? Is that the mood you're walking in with?
Many of these thoughts did come true, but I do want to believe that there is someone behind all these things, because I don't think everyone knows that I'm quite a reactive person personally. So I don't think they know that I'll not give up. I don't know on what basis this case came, and the timing was wrong. Or the timing was planned. I don't know. But everything just happened suddenly. There was a character assassination. There was kind of my entire career was told that it was a farce. So I fought. And I'm very, very thankful to the entire media, entire Kerala public, the entire Mallu fraternity in the world, and my own industry, from producer, MACTA, all these distribute, everyone. Everyone stood so strongly with me. It was something which I never expected, because, it's like you're questioning the industry by itself. Forget about a woman. You're questioning the censor board, which is a government body. You're questioning the directors who are national award winners. You're questioning the co-actor, Mr. Mammootty, and those people. So, that you can't be you can't allow people just walking in and going to a court and just filing a case. But, the saddest part is that CGM court, that is the lower magistrate, on what basis did he take this case? So right now on a high court, judge has asked him for the explanation. So on a legal thing also, it's a lot of judges did call me up and said they apologized. They said, we have never heard something like this. So we are asking for explanation.
And all of this, of course, came in the backdrop of the Hema Committee report. That itself has triggered I presume, this targeting, and the Hema Committee report in itself. Would you want to touch upon that? You know, years of deep-rooted issues, serious allegations of sexual harassment and harassment of different kinds within the industry that came to fore and weren't addressed. So Hema Committee report really pulling out the skeletons, you know. Is this something that you want to weigh in on?
And no, I have to say about Hema Committee one thing is that I just want to say kudos to all the women who came forward. You know, it takes a huge, I don't want to say guts or anything. It just takes too much of an energy. It's an emotional thing for them.
It's your career at stake.
It's career, their own personality, character, family, the society, everything. So for them to come forward and speak anything, I want to appreciate those women. For that, it's just sad that we had to wait for a Hema Committee to come forward, you know. But I also want to say one thing. In my own experience, I've been quite a fighter myself from the day one. When I I got into this industry when I was a minor. I have fought through the film journey, and I have never faced this bad this thing. But again, you know, my background was that I come from a very secured family. I come from a very my family, my parents all are very, very like strong pillars behind me, you know, or around me all the time. I don't see that happening to all the women.
You know, even with a strong family backing like yours, do you think that an industry where you have allegations of such nature, speaking out against a powerful person will still mean that your entire career is at stake on the line? Honestly, that's exactly seemed to be what's happened with some of them.
You can see my career. You can see my movies. I sometimes have. So whenever I've voiced out, I don't get movies for years. I don't care. You know, I don't care. But then again, I get it. So it's not
amazing.
So I've had my movies. So, you know, every time when in Malayalam, they keep asking, so this is your Tirchu Varaval, that is like, you know, coming back. Yeah, I'm returning back. So I keep saying that, you know, I will keep bouncing back, you know. Yeah, and I always believe women need to fight for whatever they want in life. And I do see that in all the industry, and I don't want to say that it's only happening, but here it's obviously, I think women don't voice out.
Yeah, you know, totally. Stepping into an election like this takes a lot of guts, I understand, and a lot of willingness to shoulder responsibility. You've shown that. Maybe that's exactly why you got that kind of support, so overwhelming.
But believe me, once I sat on the chair, I realized it's not woman or man's job. It's just a job. You know, it's just a job, believe me.
Yeah, but you know, but do you think having a woman at the helm shifts the tone, makes the space more open and safer for women to speak up? Basically, now that you are at the helm, do you believe you're going to be welcoming of more women? That will be a natural tendency to welcome women. But was this the right move ultimately for a woman to be at the helm?
I think basic character of mine is I'm a good listener, you know, and I believe in anything wherever any injustice happens, you should stand up and talk. And I'm here to listen to. Anyone can come call me. I can give them personal timing also. I've been that's been my personality. You know, it's not like because I'm sitting here, but that's always been my personality. And no one comes forward. Believe me, no one comes forward. They're scared, and I don't pity them. I mean, I just pray that may all the women end up getting all kinds of encouragement, and you don't have to fight. I just feel that the thing which has to be done on the spot has to be done.
Well, but let's hope women do take the courage to come forward. But I want to ask you, what's the protocol really? If women come to you with a grievance of any kind of harassment or other trouble, what's the protocol within Amma to address that?
We have a
You-
disciplinary
we-
committee.
Yeah.
We do have this thing. We would like to listen. We would like to put the parties in front. And if not, then we will, of course, support them in every other actions or the other steps. Before this, when I was a vice president, I was part of ICC committee chairperson.
Right.
So there was a case, and I took a very strong action on that. And I said, the person, whoever it is, has to step down from their position and has to. And of course, who is right, who is wrong, only legally. We are not legal body. We can only give them a path. We can only channel them, but we will be there with them. Legally, we can't take only court, police case and all these things. So all these things. So I have been part of it. It's not that, because I've always had, I don't care attitude.
So a person will step down, in your view, if there are allegations within Amma organization, the person will have to step down until the investigation is complete.
If that person is in a particular position, if that person is there, if not, I think even during the election time, I was very strong when our committee had become ad hoc, I did say that anyone who has a case should step down. And, Amma is here. You can come and be part of an election and win and come on the chair. That's okay. But we should be very clear. But then, I always feel that, social commitment is something which can't be instilled in people.
Yeah, but Shwetha, you worked across multiple southern film industries, even in Hindi. But do you believe that the Hema Committee report showed the Malayalam film industry having a lot of dirt? Do you believe that this is a problem specific to the Malayalam film industry? Or do you feel that this is a situation in all industries?
I just want to say there are a lot of newcomers who have approached me while during the election time. The moment you come forward, we would like to be part of Amma, we would like to take the membership and all. And I just want to say that, everyone needs to know that we have a bylaw. This organization doesn't come from my home. It's not something I have to go by the bylaw. So when you are working in an organization, there are many things. There's always a conflict between personal identity and the company identity or the working environment. So there's always a personal Shwetha Memon, a person, an individual, and there is an Amma organization with a very tight and bylaw which was formed, of course, 30 years back, and we have introduced few more, and we still need to introduce, and it's a kind of an ongoing, because you say Bible is like a Bible, bylaw is a Bible, so we need to go by that thing. So whether there is a woman here or a man, we can't go against bylaw. Everything, whatever happens in the executive, it has to be approved by the general body.
Now, and just my question on funding and earnings, how does Amma survive? As an organization, has it ever faced any financial crunch or anything to keep it running smoothly? What are you doing?
So this is the Onam season in Kerala. Yeah. So what we did is we made a Onam kit. That is like just to show our love and thank you for the election, giving us this opportunity to serve you. One small kit we made with little bit of normal household groceries and everything, and few sweets and 2-3 flavors of ice cream, and we send it to all our members, or rather, it's just going on, and it'll reach at their doorstep, just to say that, we are thanking you for appointing us and giving us this opportunity for this next 3 years. And we will put our 1000% into it. That's the only thing. So which we got sponsored. As of now, we have many financial problems. In the sense, we do have money, but we do have a lot of outgoings also. So we still are on the process, and we are still collecting all the papers and trying to understand and everything. But don't worry. I just understood one thing in this 10 days is every member should be part of election and should be sitting on the side also to understand what Amma is doing. The easiest thing is to question and put an aspersion.
Yeah, but I will ask you again. You worked for many years. You produced, acted. But my question is, have you personally, you're now at the helm of Amma, but what about you? Have you felt threatened? Have you felt inequality or experienced any form of suppression within your industry? Any discomfort?
I'm sure. I mean, I've had difficulties in the working atmosphere, like maybe because obviously this makeup van and, vanity van has come just recently into Malayalam industry. Though I think one of the first female artists who was getting vanity van was me in Kerala. Wow. Because I demanded. I'm not in that era where like people used to put saris and go to the loo and all. No. I came in a place where we used to, if suppose this is the location, we would be, production will take a house and, and we will just barge into their house. They would just welcome us like nicely, aye, and that's all they will remember. And the next thing we know is the entire film industry is inside the house, because of the loo and all. So there also, when I used to work, I used to always say I need a bathroom of my own, and I used to get a lock and key. I used to lock and I used to go. Because I'm very particular I'm an OCD person. So I was very particular. So I'm just saying that, frankly speaking, I have, today when I look back and I said, my God, I don't know how I had guts, because I know that maybe next day the production or the director or the producer will just keep saying that, she's a very difficult person or something like that. She's quite demanding. But I just care two hoots, because I just realized that people are not difficult. It's just that we make them. Even when I was pregnant, I was doing like 5 movies. I was like, and I used to tell my director, I won't be able to come at 7 in the morning. I'll be able to come at only at 10:30. And I've done 5 movies and I worked almost till the last moment of my delivery, So I was shooting throughout my delivery. So, so I don't know about other women, because no one has ever told me. I have to be very frank. I mean, even now, I ask women, are you having a problem or anything? They don't say. That's why I said, it's very difficult. And the women who say whether they are losing work or not, I don't know, but I've lost work. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Again. And happy Onam from us to you all.
Thank you.
ब्यूटीफुल 18th सेंचुरी और अभी तक चल रही है। ज्यादा नहीं चली। कुछ कहा? प्रोमिनेंस नहीं, प्रोमिनेंस। वाओ, ओरिजिनल।
या स्पेन से लाए थे।
वहीं छोड़ाते।